The following episode is brought to you by Poison City Brewing, proud makers of Durban Poison Cannabis Lager, the beer that invites you to live your poison. How's it going, guys? You got myself, Nasiphi Zwane, back again with another episode of Sludge Underground. We are back again at the Castle on Main, and I'm here with a really interesting band. And these guys are massive in the Durban scene right now. And you know, with the stuff that's coming up, I'm pretty sure they are going to be even more massive in the South African scene as a whole. You know, with things that we are expecting from them and whatnot. So I'm going to let the guys introduce themselves quickly, one by one. Let me know what you guys do. And we'll just take it from there. I don't know if we can start
from my side if you want. Yeah, my name is Cliffy. I play guitar.
I'm Dylan. I'm lead vocalist.
Matt, I play bass.
I'm Jordan, and I hit the drums.
Oh, that's really epic, guys. And obviously you guys are called Last of the Daggers. So let's just break that down real quick. Start it off, let the people know, you know, what that sort of means for anyone who might not know what Last of the Daggers. You know, what is the meaning sort of behind this name?
So Last of the Daggers was basically just an idea I came up with, just a sort of a last push as a last band. You know, I've been doing this for a good couple of years. Started when I was 10 or so, first band 13. So there's been a lot of bands in there, so it's basically just the sort of last push and everything that we've got.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, you guys, this isn't your sort of first band experience and whatnot. You guys have been, you know, in other bands as well in the past. So I'd like for us to sort of just dive into that there, you know, what sort of bands do you guys come from? A lot of the names will be very familiar if people have been in the Durban scene and whatnot. And sort of what experiences did you guys sort of learn from those, you know, individual bands that you guys came from?
Okay, well, my sort of history with the guys, I first met Jordan. We had a band called Dirty Royal. It was actually a band we joined.
Rock and roll band.
A rock and roll band. We had some good success with that band. Yeah. And then from then, we made Codes, which was again then me and Jordan. Then Matt pulled in. But then Matt and Jordan have history in earlier bands then as well together. And then Last of the Daggers, eventually he came across and we basically carried on from Codes.
Yeah, Matt and I go way back. I think we first started playing in like 2002 or something. I was still playing guitar, you were on bass, and I wouldn't have any other bassist in the band, so I pretty much roped him into playing. I don't give a shit if you got kids or a house or responsibilities, you got to be in the band. So we were in a band called Glow from Maritzburg back in the day.
You need to point out your highlights of Glow.
We won the Battle of the Bands at the Winston in 2003, I think it was. Which it was 2003. So we got to open for Sepultura at the Bat Center.
What?
Yeah. With Derek and Igor. Obviously no Max. So Derek, Igor, Paolo Jr. and Andreas. We got to meet them.
It was badass. Yeah.
That was a highlight of our career.
I would say that's a highlight.
Then we became Gravida because we had a different vocalist. Because the Glow vocalist, actually we had 3 Glow vocalists. Even you and I sang it was sucked. It's
pretty bad.
Fuck.
But I mean, with you guys, I mean, what you guys have just said is really massive. I mean, why didn't you guys sort of continue with that? You know, what happened to that band?
Well, we said no to touring with Sepultura. We just had no joking. No, bro. No, I think we all had our things going. We were at Varsity at the time, and
you went overseas.
I went overseas
playing drums.
For a while. No, but that was after Gravida.
You went overseas and I started playing drums because there were no drummers.
Yeah.
Everybody plays guitar and there was no drummers. So.
And like a lot of people that have come through, you know, they're some OGs of the scene. They always tell me about like Burn and, you know, how everything was just hip and happening back in the day for the alternative scene and whatnot. How was it sort of with you guys as people who have been in bands for such a long time? If you look at how it was sort of back then and looking at it right now, what sort of differences would you say there are in the scenes, you know, as people who have been in this for a very long time?
There's still a scene. The scene then was massive with Burn when it was still there on Umbila Road. I mean, we all know how big that scene was. We'll all remember that. But you know, the scene still exists. You just got to dig a bit, you know, and it's smaller, but you just got to dig a bit, and it's still there.
The options are just a little bit limited, I think. I mean, unless people organise shows like Bit at the Polo or, you know, other once-off shows, really the only venue you can play in Durban is the Winston. That's it. So it is kind of limiting, but Yeah, I suppose it makes you think creatively. You got to organise events and jawls instead of just rocking up to the club and expecting to play.
Yeah, you have to organise a jawl at the Winston to get people to come, and then when it does happen, it's rad. It's awesome. We've had some good jawls.
We've had some good nights at the Winston, but we've had some bad nights, you know. And I think, like you guys mentioned, the Pits at the Polo was definitely something. If Matt Howes didn't pull that off, you know, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know where else you could have done that.
I think also just from my view, obviously, I'm the youngest in the band, so I haven't been around in the scene for that long. I played in one band previous to this band, which was kind of quite a sentimental project and band for me, which kind of got me into music, and that was Scrapyard Bones. And I did vocals for them for about 5 years. Also quite a successful Durban band, even though at that time Burn wasn't around anymore, so kind of the Winston has always been the staple for everyone. So with that band also, Battle of the Bands came second in that, which was really great for us coming out like from the starting blocks. But I think there, in terms of the scene, you know, like, yes, Winston is kind of the stronghold, but I think it's important for everyone in the scene right now to kind of band together and come together and actually plan and do events together like Matt Howes did, because it proves that it's achievable and people will come out if it's planned properly, and that's the big difference. Back in the day, I could see when I was young I never even went into the Burn on Bilo, you know, I was still in school then. But
yeah, you missed the scene.
Yeah, crazy story. I actually saw my dad perform. I was let in there once when I was around like 14 just to watch my dad perform Battle of the Tributes.
You're probably drunk on the dance floor,
Battle of the Tributes, Iron Maiden, you know. I grew up listening to that, so that's kind of like an influence for me, is the older stuff. But it's been really cool being able to join the band with these guys, because it brings a new freshness as well. We're kind of developing a new sound, which is awesome, and vocally as well. It's very different from what I did previous, you know.
Yeah, I think a very, very important thing with his vocals is that it's given us room to write longer songs, whereas like with Codes, we had very sort of short songs. It's sort of like a 2.5 minute, 3 minutes, where we've got songs peaking in like five minutes odd, which for us has been, you know, we haven't done that since a band like Dirty Royal, where we had sort of epic tracks, like sort of long vocal, lots of room for that.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot more space in the songwriting. I mean, Codes was kind of just like, all the songs were like a punch to the face. Everything was just go, 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 and the song would end. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a bridge and a chorus. Everything was just a heavy riff after a heavy riff after a heavy riff. So
whatever riff you could remember.
Yeah.
Just play that one 4 times.
Which was fun to play, but I think we probably had more fun playing it than a lot of people
had listening
to it. No, I don't think that's fair at all.
I don't think that's fair. I mean, it was good for what it was, but it was just a different beast. It was like it was just balls to the wall aggression from A to Z, you know. And I think with the Daggers, it's a lot more nuanced, if I can use that word.
And I think it's a lot more planned. I mean, we're actually thinking about what we're doing now. I mean, Dylan's handling all the artwork, and he puts a lot of work into that. And the sort of the communication between the four of us is something that we didn't have in Codes, because, like Jordan mentioned, it was just something that happened. We didn't even really choose a logo; it just happened. We didn't make any T-shirts. We didn't have anything, you know.
There wasn't really much of a concept.
Nothing at all. I don't even know where the name came from. I think we were drunk one night. We were just like, "Yeah, Codes is the cool name."
You said you had it saved up for a band,
and you came up with the name. You had like this neon sign for it. I don't know. You're like, it needs to be a neon.
Okay, well, I was lost for about 10 years.
But basically, I'd say like Codes was awesome. It was such a cool band to play in. But we're not that we're not.
Best new metal band, wasn't it?
Yeah, but best new metal band.
We're on
2017, I think.
And that was on the first EP, so I mean, their established was quite good. And I think that's an important thing to note.
It is, but we're also not that band anymore, though.
Yeah,
so that's the main thing.
Let's talk about this band.
But there's pieces of it that still exist within this band, which I think is good. It's part of the journey, you know. And I think that's why I like the name, and in terms of the concept, I think we're pushing really hard to to do that, is to establish what we stand for, what our music stands for, what you can kind of expect when you listen to it, you know.
Yeah.
And like Cliffy was saying, you know, just that idea of Last of the Daggers, yes, so maybe the last push for him in terms of a band and producing and making music. But yeah, for you. But I think
Never stab.
but I think also then lyrically and songwriting wise as well, I think like we haven't quite figured it out, but establishing this idea of this present dystopian like world, you know, where societal pressures, all those things kind of get people down, you know. And I think Last of the Daggers is a signifier to say that, like, it's time to wake up and to actually stand for yourself, and this is the last of all the bad things, you know, of the distractions and all that stuff. So yeah, that's going a bit deep into the
It's
music.
actually a very good explanation of what it is.
But I think
Glad
that
someone gets
that in essence, I think it's also that's why it's important for me as a vocalist, you know, like it's also what we want to do is not just constantly shout and people can't hear us. We've got a message. We've got a message out there. I'm not against any bands where you can't really hear what the vocals are saying. There are a lot of bands that I listen to that I'm inspired by, but I think from our side, that's kind of what we want to do, is we want to bridge that gap between the heavy, but then also some of the the chilledness, you know. So yeah, and I think that's it. So I think adding that bit of more progressiveness and stuff to it, it's been good for the band. And I mean, we're still young. Like when did we got together in like August?
Oh, you mean young as in terms of a band?
Yeah, in terms of a band, you know, like it's August. I think we had our first.
August was our first
band
gig.
practice.
We had
You guys
3
have been
practices
talking
with you
about
guys, with you,
Yeah,
and I think we had 2 with Adam.
yeah.
So we basically just got a deadline, and then we were just that's
We
it.
really jumped right into that
But you
one.
guys were really thinking about it like the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
already had the
started
idea, but I
planning.
had no one to jam with, and then I started talking to Jordan about it, and then then it just sort of happened from there.
And dude, it's really interesting that you say you guys, you know, when you started practicing in like August. And the insane part about that is that when I first saw you guys, we did talk, you know, before the interview, and you did say that it was your first gig. When I first saw you guys was at Pits at the Polo. And, you know, it's insane to think that you guys, you know, you got together in August, you're practicing in August, next thing you guys are playing Pits at the Polo in the exact same year. So then how was that whole experience for you guys, you know, preparing for that and actually, you know, being in such a fucking awesome lineup, because the bands there were no small bands, you know?
It was a great opportunity, and I would just like to shout out to Matt Howes again for that opportunity. But I mean, he pretty much knew us already, so he knew whatever we would come up with would be a good band. So it was a great opportunity.
It was a bit of a vote of confidence from Matt there.
So
Hopefully we didn't disappoint. But you know, it was we kind of just battened the hatches and got down to practicing. You know, there was just a work ethic thing, like no skipping practices, no excuses, no sorry I'm busy, no I'm tired. Like every fucking week we're there, and you know, especially with the pressure of that gig up less than a month away. You know, we had a lot of work to do, because we don't want to get up on stage and look like an amateur band. You know, we haven't been doing this since last week. So aside from the band itself, like we've got all our own egos to uphold. I'm not going to get up there and suck, you know.
And also we had to write some new songs. We couldn't just get up there and do code songs. Otherwise, what's the point? You know, we did do. Of course, we do have some code songs, or some songs that we brought with us from codes, I should say, rather. But two now.
I mean, at the moment we've got 7 songs. In fact, probably close on 8. And only 2 of those are code songs. So we slowly and surely like moving ahead. And the new songs are very, very different, as we said before. They're longer just because of the
expensive.
the way the songs are structured, with the way the vocals are layered, and you know, with the lyrics and so on. We can actually take a bit of a backseat and make a song instead of just a fucking 3-minute punch to the face.
We still can have those. We'll still always have those songs that'll come out. But I mean, we're not just going to have a 35, 45 minute set of just 3-minute kick you in the head songs, you know.
That's it. You kind of want this like ebb and flow in
The dynamic
in your
in the- in the
performance,
sense,
and like that dynamic of kind of having those moments, those like atmospheric open moments that kind of give people a bit of a break to connect to the music in a different way, and then it comes and then smacks you.
Then you still
know?
get punched in the
You
face.
still get punched. But yeah, it's a bit of a more like a slower release, I guess. You know? Which is cool, yeah.
Yeah, I really feel like you guys are you're doing justice. You are sort of, for anyone who hasn't really listened to your sound, they sort of get an idea. Are there any bands that you guys were influenced by at all?
Jeez, wow, where to start? I think one of the biggest sort of common ones we have all together would be Deftones. Definitely Deftones. Every Time I Die, Sepultura, Machine Head.
Here's Legend.
Yeah,
Alice in
Legend,
Chains.
Big Tom,
Yeah.
Alice in Chains, yeah.
There's just so many. I mean, but I talking like names that would pop up between the four of us. I mean, I'm sure individually we listen to
But
all
different
kinds of
things.
dodgy shit, especially me.
And bro, just let me in on your experience there, bro. Being the youngest guy in the band there, how is it for you, sort of working with your bros here?
Well, I think it's kind when I started playing, like I said, my dad played in bands his whole life, and then when I joined the band, like off topic here, but he had passed away quite a few years back, and the band that he was in, that he was playing in for about like 15 years, it was like really long time. They actually got hold of me after that whole experience about a year later, and kind of like got in contact and said, hey, do you want to come and take over, and kind of live in his footsteps. And that's why I said earlier about the sentimentality of the band I was in previous. But there I was playing with guys in their 50s, so like I'm playing with a guitarist who's 54, a bassist who's 60, and then a drummer who's like 38. So it was like this mixed bag of tricks and people from like different eras, kind of,
musicians.
and well seasoned musicians. So for me, I learned quite a lot through that experience. When I started out, I must say, like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but obviously was something I've always wanted to do. And then kind of like I said, that went on for about five years. We were on and off. And yeah, then joining this band, what's been really awesome is that being in that old band was kind of like the story of, with these old musos kind of struggling a bit in life and not really having much of a vision as to what you want to do, where you want to go with your music. It was kind of just this cool thing that we got together and we expressed ourselves, and was pretty much a jam band. There were moments of seriousness, but it was never really that serious. So I was really stoked when Cliffy actually got a hold of me, and I actually met Cliffy through that experience way back a few years ago.
A few years ago, 7 odd years ago.
He was friends with the drummer from
Jason Eads.
Scrapyard Bones.
So I met him at a house party like a good 7 odd years
I
ago.
was in, like, 7 years.
Had a few drinks together, spoke some shit, and then sort of just knew each other over the years. And then when we were looking for a vocalist, he just popped into my head, thinking I'd seen him on stage before. I knew his sort of background and experience and that, and then I was like, well, he'll be an interesting vibe to bring to the band. And I spoke to Jordan about it, spoke to Matt about it. A couple of minutes into the first jam, and he was in the band.
Yeah. So then, it's like join the band, and there was now a completely different experience. For me, it's been really awesome to hang out with guys who are younger than the guys that I was playing with, and the fact that like whatever. And just similar style, taste in music as well, which was something that I've always felt like was kind of missing a little bit. But everything kind of happens like in time, So
I think it's also really cool that you get to flex your creative side in the band as well. Which I mean, with that previous band, you didn't really have an opportunity to do that.
You guys have pushed me as well in that essence, like with the artwork and all those things.
The
it's
Instagram
obviously
page is run by him as well, which is
so I've been doing all of that. I mean, that's kind of like what I do for a living, my art director, my everyday. But what's been cool there is these guys have pushed me to actually do that, and to giving me ideas in terms of what they envision and what they want, and then taking those and actually making them happen. So it's kind of nice as a project in itself, aesthetically, to produce artwork and things for the brand. It's nice to have a look and feel and have a brand and this view on what you want your band to be, So there again, it was like previous band that was never really in anything that was important. I was doing things, but it wasn't really motivated and urged on by the other guys. So I think it's always important to find those people that you enjoy playing with, that see things the same way and that push each other. And I think that's what we found here, and probably one of the biggest reasons why we've been able to actually produce the music we have in such a short space of time. We're all kind of revving to actually make this something meaningful, for each of us. So yeah,
that's really dope, bro. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
No.
I think you've said enough.
Yeah, I think I've said enough.
And I'm also just thinking of, when I was speaking to Cliffy here, in terms of logistics, guys. Cliffy, you did say from, Hillcrest side and all that. When it comes to practices, I understand that some of you guys are from Durban side and everything. How do you guys sort of get around that? Is it sort of a challenge in any way?
Well, I think luckily for me, the company I work for, I've got company petrol, so it doesn't really bug me too much, But it does get a bit taxing on you a little bit. Like I've been like a day like today. I'm on holiday, man. I don't want to drive down to Durban. So yeah, but I mean, other than that,
Cliffy has the longest way to go.
Yeah.
The rest of us are, you're in Musgrave and myself and Matt are on Glenwood. So the drive to Durban North isn't that much of a mission. But Cliffy has to suck it up and do the long haul.
We practice Mondays. Yeah. I think that's the best day for all of us.
Yeah. We've
that's when you're the most depressed, so you write the best songs.
Yeah, that has been the biggest issue, to be honest. Like after that fucking Monday, it's like,
And with you guys, how do you sort of juggle, sort of your day jobs with making, while making the band a priority?
Well, we all obviously work full time, but with codes, what's that? with codes, codes sort of got pushed into the background a lot because of that. Yeah. And we were quite a big party band when we were in codes as well, which also influenced a lot of that. So with this band, we sort of calmed down a little bit more. We've got the set day of Mondays, and we try and stick to it. And we kind of made it a rule that if we can't do Mondays, we'll have a look at another day. But Monday's the day. It has to be a day in the week that we do it, at least.
You could think it's a Monday, because if you miss Monday, you've got 5 more days.
That's it, yeah.
We're not really the kind of band that where we write songs at home and then somebody brings stuff. Cliffy brings the odd riff.
Yeah.
We're the sort of band that writes in the band room. So when you say like juggling day jobs and so on, the band happens at band practice. The rest of the time, I've got the rest of my life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we get in that room, and just the way we write songs, we kind of bounce off each other. Like I'll grab the guitar and I'll be like, Cliffy, how about you do this riff? And then Matt will get an idea and grab the guitar and so on. So we all just throw our hats into the ring and just fuck with it until it works, really. We're not the sort of band where the guitarist writes a song from A to Z and then brings it for everyone to lay a beat on and stuff.
You'll come up with like an interesting name for a song. And then you'll be like, this is it. And then that'll kind of like set a theme or like a vibe, a bit of a story. The names
come
like,
first. That's so funny.
I think that's
true.
I think it's quite obviously everyone writes music differently.
Apparently
some
the
people,
last one wasn't that good though.
Yeah.
We won't mention that name.
According to who?
So I usually just wake up with these like random ideas, and Kill All the Ghosts was one. I Speak Static was the other one, and then it'll either be the name or a riff or an idea,
or a name with a
and then I'll talk about the idea. I haven't even touched the guitar yet. Talk to the guys a little bit. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Yeah. Then eventually get to actually grabbing a guitar in the band room, and then like, right, we got to write that song with that theme. So. The last one didn't work
Yeah, no.
We drop in the last
We'll
one.
get there. That's because we started working on
Bullet
the,
Radio.
Yeah, Bullet Radio.
That one's not going to make the cut.
Why isn't it gonna make the cut, bro?
I don't know. The more I think about it, the worse it gets. Bullet
You feel
Radio.
like a bullet. You feel like a bully.
Nah.
Sounds like a Green Day
He's a
song.
bullet.
It sounds like a Green Day Rage Against the Machine song.
song, dude.
Bullet, yeah, like
Yeah.
a drop D riff or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Bullet Radio.
Now you're knocking your own band.
But yeah, when we practice, what's has also been cool, and your whole question of like how do we balance things is that on a Monday we know practice happens hopper 6 and to like hopper 8. And that's the time that we stick to. Like we don't go over it. We just stick to that. Those 2 hours are like precious, it's like fucking that's gold.
Yeah.
And we don't push any harder than that. And then like obviously throughout the week you'll be sifting through ideas and things. But that's it. I think that's also important, is like separating that and then just not letting anything else get in the way of that focus. You know. So except the odd cigarettes.
Which, speaking of, we do need one shortly.
It's been 20 minutes. Yours are.
Listen, guys, that's really solid. You know, before we get to your guys' EP, which is a real like heavy point, I just sort of want to just find out from you guys in terms of, you know, when it comes to sort of, I've been fortunate enough to see you guys play twice now, but for anyone who hasn't sort of seen, you know, what you guys are capable of on stage, you know, what can someone sort of come through expecting to see from a Last of the Daggers sort of performance and whatnot?
From my perspective, you're basically you're gonna have that head nodding from beginning to end. You know, everything has to have a groove. I fucking hate playing beats that don't have a groove. So you're gonna nod your head the whole way through, and hopefully you're gonna have some grinding riffs as well.
Yeah, I think it's also just expect something different, you know. We like we said, we're still trying to figure out our sound and what our view on things are. But I think in terms of a performance, very energetic, fast and slow paces. So like
Something
I mean,
for
sometimes
everyone,
something for everyone. I think that's also important. Make it a little bit more accessible, but still stay true to what inspires us. Like even just watching some of the people like at some of the gigs that we've played, like one of the interesting things I've noticed with like engaging with them while performing is that, you know, people don't necessarily know the songs yet, you know, so you have these moments where like the song will go from like these heavy crashes where you could basically be moshing to then a complete like stop and then into like a chilled section or a more chilled out section. So and then that's kind of like there's this moment where there's a little bit of confusion as to like, well, but how do we interact with this music? What are we doing? But I think that's part of the interest, is like there's something there that I think, like Cliffy said, kind of appeals to everyone. And I think the type of music it is, the more you listen to it, the more it'll like grow on you. There's sections in there which kind of could lend itself to the crowd shouting along once you get to know those sections, which I think we're looking forward to. Is once people start listening to the music more, start getting into it, it'll be awesome to see where that takes us in terms of interactions. But yeah,
Definitely tell you write the lyrics in this band, man.
Every time the mic comes to you, it's like a full story.
I think in terms of expectations, what you can hear is what you can expect is to hear your favorite metal bands mushed into one song. Yeah, you're gonna hear a Deftones verse and an Alice in Chains bridge and like
Machine Head Rough here and there.
Yeah. You're gonna hear a lot of your favorite bands smashed into one Daggers song.
That's actually pretty much what it is. I mean, we take what we like.
We like to
listen beautifully together. Last of the Daggers. Yeah. All your favorite
play all your favorite hits.
all your favorite metal bands stabbed together by the Last of the Daggers.
Very poetic, guys. Listen, you guys mentioned something massive that we just can't finish the episode without talking about. Your EP, it's coming out. I'm super excited. The people are super excited. Dive in more to that. What went behind, creating this EP. What's it called as well?
Okay, so where we are at the moment. So let's not jump too far ahead just yet. So we're busy recording it now. We've finished the guitars, we finished the bass, we finished the drums. So this weekend,
instruments,
yeah. So that's done. The vocals are up next. In terms of the name for the EP, we're probably just going to pull one of the track titles, I'm sure, unless he comes up with something.
About it, but yeah.
Me and Dylan had a sideline discussion about that after you guys left after the last session. Yeah, we've got some concepts, but
Take that one offline.
yeah.
But yeah, we haven't actually quite figured out the name yet.
Yeah.
It is. You can take a name from one of the songs, but I think we want to establish a bit more of that concept.
Yeah,
today,
the concept.
you know?
I mean, we've got a couple of ideas. We've got the character Dolly Dagger, which I'm sure you've seen on the Instagram page.
Yeah.
So we've spoken about sort of expanding on that character, having sort of different personas, and then for each track, maybe have something relevant to each song. So that is sort of an idea we've kicked around. So I guess we could say probably end of February, beginning of March, we'll have the EP out with the artwork done, ready for release. And
It's a
possibly
four-track EP. We're recording it ourselves. So
if you play it backwards, you can.
if you play it backwards, if you play it backwards, it sounds like it's mixed better. No, we're recording it ourselves. I'm a firm believer in like doing things ourselves, and I've got the gear and whatnot. So we went into the studio this last weekend and just set up mics and everything and just dicked around until we got some good sounds. And as Cliffy said, we've got the instruments done. So Dylan's had the instrumental tracks for the duration of this week just to bash out some ideas.
Yeah, I have.
Dude, I haven't stopped fucking listening.
I'm so sick of them now.
I can't hear my bass in any of them, so
There's only one song I
you guys
can't
can
hear
listen to it as much as you want. I listen to you guys, I only hear myself.
Yeah, so like basically, really thank you so much there, Cliffy bro, for mentioning, when it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
We all know now, end of Feb, beginning of March. So
No later than mid-March with a launch probably around about the same time, preferably over a pay weekend so we can get a fuller venue. We'll of course have you guys joining us, Thorns of Ivory, and we still need to decide on a venue. There's a couple of ideas that we've got on that. We'll keep you posted on our Instagram. You can catch our Instagram at Last of the Daggers, Facebook page at Last of the Daggers. I think that's all we got on the social medias.
Once we've got our EP, and then we'll put up stuff on the SoundClouds and the Basecamps and all those.
And we're going old school. We're gonna be releasing the EP on good old CD as well, just for those people that like to hold something in their hand. And we all grew up with CDs, and it's just fucking badass putting out a CD. So.
And I want one for myself.
The only CD player I have is in my car.
Well, that's the only place to listen to music anyway, man.
listen guys, thank you for giving us your handles. People know where to find you. Now guys, beyond the EP now, we're looking at 2020. What are the plans?
There is actually a plan in the works. We've got a music video which Dylan will be running on point on that one. So I don't know, Dylan, can you maybe tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I mean, music video, once we've got our EP done, I've been in conversations with a few guys who are all keen to kind of get together and conceptualize and come up with something really cool. So haven't really figured out which of the tracks it's going to be yet, but we'll definitely confirm more about that going forward. If you follow us on our pages, there'll probably be some news about it like in the future, and that'll come with the YouTube channel and all of the good social media sites. And then I think in terms of 2020, beyond the music video, I think a few, maybe like one or two tours up to Joburg and just lots more gigs. I think Cape Town for us is like quite a big goal. It's quite an ambition. There's a few bands that side that we would love to play with. Peasants is a band from Cape Town that we absolutely love and feel like our music would fit quite well with theirs. So that's maybe at the end of the year, but just more gigs in Durban, playing with a lot more
in your backyard.
a lot more bands, and growing the scene, meeting a lot more people, and kind of cultivating that crew,
I think everyone
writing songs.
writing songs. I think everyone needs to sort of rally behind Matt Howes, because he seems to be the one that's like really, going for it, and I'm sure you'll agree with that.
Yeah, 100%.
And if we can just give him that support, he's put out a request to all the bands now to sort of help finance new cables and stuff for the Winston, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah.
And because he's basically the one that sits behind the desk there and
Has to deal with those.
has to deal with those cables. So I think if everyone just shows the support in a small way like that, or in any other way, sharing on their page, speaking to their friends, helping with gigs, whatever it is, that's what I
Doing
reckon.
things differently, I think, is important.
Yeah. No, that's really solid, guys. And obviously, we can't end off the show without giving people a taste of, what you guys definitely sound like. So before we spoke, we did mention that you guys might even give us a little, present in terms of closing out one of the tracks from the new EP. So I just want to know from you guys which track that is and sort of why that track in particular.
I'm more than likely gonna be Eraser because we just fucking love that song. It's just, I think as far as Daggers goes, Eraser is the song that most typifies the band in every sense. It's got all the different types of riffs, the different types of melodies in one song that stretch the sound of the Daggers.
I think Eraser was actually the first track with Dylan that we wrote as a full new band. It was Eraser, yeah. So we had the bits and pieces left from Codes. We had a couple of other ideas we'd already started kicking around before he joined. So that was basically like the starting point of Daggers, which only makes sense to release that as our first sort of single, I would guess.
Yeah.
No, that's epic, guys. Listen, thank you guys so much for allowing me to come do here, have an interview with you guys. It's been such a pleasure. You guys are really sick, Oaks. And guys, until next time, catch this episode on iTunes, Sludge Underground Podcast, on SoundCloud, Sludge Underground, and Facebook, we are Sludge Underground, on Twitter, @Sludge31, on Instagram, @Sludge Underground. Email us, sludgeunderground@gmail.com. Until next time, guys, enjoy the track. It's Eraser by Last of the Daggers. It's cheers for now.
Between Take away your life.